This is Let's Talk Big with Jane Berger and Jen Hazel. The Owens Community College campus read is taking place now and throughout the semester with the goal of bringing awareness of different perspectives through books. The campus read book is the New York Times bestseller, Tru Biz by Sara Novic. Tru Biz is a story of sign language and lip reading, cochlear implants and civil rights, isolation and injustice, first love and loss, and above all, great persistence, daring, and joy. Now, sharing passages, topics, and events related to the book is Owens Community College Director of Library Services, Jane Berger, and Professor of English, Jen Hazel.
Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Talk Big. I'm Jen Hazel, and I have with me
Jane Berger.
And we have today,
Drum roll.
We have with us today Sara Novic. Yay! So we are going to dive right in. Jane, would you like to start?
Wow, I absolutely would. Sara, what inspired you to write about a residential high school for deaf students?
Well, thank you for having me here, first of all.
Thank you for being here.
And really, I was inspired. The inspiration for this book was from two places. One of them was I read a newspaper article, and it was about a lawsuit that related to the cochlear implant, a company that provided cochlear implants. And there were some individuals that had gotten the implant that were experiencing very bad difficulties with that implant. And the people that worked for that company, like the engineers, they were aware that those issues were happening. And so I'm just trying to kind of bring awareness to that.
Awesome. Thank you.
I myself have never actually experienced that. And at the same time, I was thinking about, I don't know, I want to share this information with people. And I also am a creative writer. And so I kind of wanted to dive into how it would feel, to have those thoughts and those things happening inside of your head. So that's kind of where I started. And then the second thing that happened was that we were moving to Ohio for my partner's work. So we were transferring to another city in Ohio. One second, to Cincinnati. And I myself, I didn't know anything about that area. And I wasn't sure what it was going to be like to be there. And I got there and it was a little bit of a culture shock for me. And so I didn't know the people there. I wasn't sure what to do, and at night I would just kind of pace, wander, walk the streets, see the city. And one night I passed a deaf school there, a residential school there. It's, one second. Saint Rita's School for the Deaf.
Okay.
And I was checking it out. I passed some teenage girls that were there on campus, and they were clearly trying to escape, trying to sneak out of the school. And I didn't know what to do, but I got really excited about it because I was seeing them signing. And I was meeting and I was like, hi, hello. And it was very exciting for me. And then I thought they might be scared of me, because I'm an adult. But anyway, then we started to have a conversation and I was just telling them where I had come from. And we just had a great chat. And for me, that moment was very important. It was a very critical part of the story itself, because in the past, it was kind of a reminder for me of where we have that language, and that's home for us.
Yeah.
So, and also it kind of made me curious, what are they doing after? What were they going to do for the night?
I love it.
That is a great story. I kind of have a little bit of a follow-up with that, Sarah. When you were talking about the article with the cochlear implants, and you were saying people were having difficulties, was it the difficulties in nature of causing other medical issues? Or was it, we saw a film in the fall here that kind of what The Sound of Metal that kind of helped, I think, us as hearing people better understand what sometimes a cochlear implant can sound like. So I was just curious as to what the issues were.
Mhm.
You're right. Those are two very separate things. So the sound of metal, I think, is a very good example of how sound works with cochlear implants. From what other people have told me. I haven't heard it myself, so I'm not sure, but um, that's a very a normal example. It's a very typical thing that happens. So this lawsuit was more related to the health issues, because what would happen is the moisture, would get inside the ear area where the surgery had happened and interact with the technology. And then what was happening is that people were experiencing very bad infections. Some people would have, they would almost feel like an electric shock or like a zap. Some people were having seizures. So there was a whole list of medical issues that happened because of that.
Okay, thank you for the
Yep.
clarification on that.
Sure.
Okay, so next question. How much, if any, of your own experience influence the story or the characters?
Ooh, let me think about that. I'm trying to think about that. I think that most people kind of assume that my relationship, I would mostly relate to the character of Charlie.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think that that's on a very surface level, that would be true, um, because I was born hearing and I did enter the deaf world late. And so I do have that similarity with that experience of just, or with that character of just sort of showing up and picking up sign language and the frustrations and overwhelming and learning everything. Um, but I also had a little bit of a bad attitude as a teen. So, another similarity with that character.
Yeah, don't we all?
Um, and then the fun thing about writing about the deaf world is that I'm able to um, kind of insert just a little bits of myself into each of the characters. And so, obviously in a very surface way, you could see, yes, I relate to Charlie quite well. But while I was writing, I also was looking at the different perspectives, the different characters, and I was seeing where I could put little bits of myself into each character. And then as a teacher, I, of course, relate to February
Mhm.
as well. Yeah.
Great, thanks. What do you think makes residential schools for the deaf unique outside of the obvious, or important specifically to the deaf culture?
Please join us for part 2 of Sara Novic's interview next week.
Keep talking big.
Catch Let's Talk Big on Outcast OCCR Owens Community College Radio every Thursday at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 7 p.m., and 10 p.m., and at various times throughout the week. Or listen anytime on the Outcom RSS feed. Visit owensoutcom.com for the link. That's Outcome with 2 M's. owensoutcom.com for Let's Talk Big.